Hey guys, figured it was time to do another lesson. Hadn't done one in a while, and let me adjust this real quick. What I want to talk about is a certain kind of style of playing, and certain type of thing you can do to a scale to get that kind of bluesy, almost like a, it can be used in shredding and blues, kind of like the thing that Eric Johnson and Joe Bonamassa do. That whole type of stuff that, and it's it's bluesy, but at the same time there's a lot of technique involved, and it's got some different notes in it, or different note than the blues scale. And a lot of people wonder about that, and it's not that. It's pretty simple if you analyze both of their playing styles. So I just want to talk about that. So both of those guys, Eric Johnson and Joe Bonamassa, when they're doing their faster licks, you're hearing them do these kind of extended sounding pentatonic type of ideas. And but what's really happening is to be able to do that, obviously you take that basic pentatonic scale, whatever key you're in. I'm going to do E minor, of course, but you add in the second degree of the scale, that F sharp right there, and that F sharp, that F sharp is everywhere on the guitar. I mean, it's it's all over for when you're doing your runs or whatever. So one example of this is a Joe Bonamassa lick that I heard him doing, improvising live, and it was slow. It was like something like that, that type of stuff. So and most of that's just all alternate picking and pull offs. The technique isn't so much as important as being able to if you can find that pentatonic scale all over the guitar, and then add in these extra notes, which the main one is that F sharp right there. So let's say you want to do a pentatonic run. There's that F sharp. So that what I just did, everything else in there is just straight pentatonic, but I added in the second degree of the scale. And it's got, a bluesy kind of feel, but it can also be, it can pretty much be used, in anything. It's diverse. You can apply that in a lot of different situations. So, if you guys want to see some other, my favorite ways to apply this is one thing I like to do is I do a descending run. Now it's all pentatonic, but I add in those two F sharps. The first one is when I'm going down, just almost like an Yngwie Malmsteen type of descending pattern. There's that F sharp. And here comes the next one. There's that F sharp, the second degree of the scale. So here's your E, here's your F sharp. So that can sound really cool, That's what I like to do with it. And obviously you can build your own. Type of melodies and stuff, but really all that you need to be able to do to be able to play in that style is have decent alternate picking abilities, be able to pick everything in that, and also being able to not just think about the scale as in one position. When I think E minor scale, I'm thinking whole length of the neck. Where are those notes? You find those notes, you find different patterns, you find you know. Find that pentatonic scale everywhere, and then add in that F sharp, and you know, pretty soon you'll just be jamming, you know, Eric Johnson type of. Doing all that stuff. So I just want to talk about that because I think a lot of people wonder what scales and what those guys are doing, and that's all it is. It's just a pentatonic scales with that F sharp added in, the second, and then work it out everywhere on the neck. That way you'll come up with more original patterns, because those guys don't stick to just, you know, they're not really formulaic with the way they do it. It's not predictable. They go all over, and you know, their patterns aren't always even. They do, you know, stuff like that, you know. So try not to apply that type of exercising, you know, that a lot of shredders do, where it's all repetitive, you know. When you're playing like this, you should be thinking a lot more musically, and really just working out cool phrases that, you know, that you like, that you want to hear. So that's kind of all I wanted to talk about. Just discuss that, because I'm kind of going through an Eric Johnson phase right now, learning his stuff, and it just was on my mind. So there you go. Hope you learned something.